Hello. I hope y'all can hear me okay. I'm doing this in my car because I don't know. I planned this video for a while and I was gonna try to make it more professional, but I just had time right now. I feel like it's something I need to address, and maybe I'll make another video more professionally. And but for now, I'm gonna try to be as quick as possible to get straight to the point, because the title, I'm sure, is either confusing or you know exactly what I'm going to talk about. A couple people that may have known me, or they may have my social media, have already heard a little bit of this, so this might be expected. And if not, basically, I'm just going to try to get into it. So, yeah, the topic for today's video is a lot different from my usual topics, and I don't plan on talking about this. Again, that's kind of not what I want my channel to be about, but I also feel like it's important right now, especially with everything going on. So I'm going to talk about it, and if anybody has questions, you can ask me, and I may make another video if there's enough people, but I doubt my 2 subscribers need another video for this. And I don't feel like making another one, really. I feel like what I'm going to say is all I need to say about it, and if you don't understand that, you can ask me and I can try to explain it to you. And at that point, if you still don't understand it, it's not my place to explain it to you any further than I already have. I shouldn't need to. I don't need to, and I really don't want to, because I'm going to say what I have to say, and that's just kind of going to be that. And if you don't understand me, that's fine. But I'm also not going to attack anybody, so I don't feel that I have to really say much about it. It's not an attack. It's just an explanation that people ask for a lot. They're like, well, explain it to me, tell me this. So this is going to be me explaining it to you, and if you still don't get it, then it's a lost cause at that point. There's not much more anybody could say to explain it to you. It's just something you have to experience. So the issue of why you, the viewer, not being racist does not solve racism. You not being racist is amazing. It's great, but it's also the bare minimum of what a human being can do. It's not something that you need to put in your Facebook bio or be super proud of. It's not normal to be racist. So to not be racist isn't something you need to get a cookie for, frankly. And that's true. That's just how it is. A lot of people will go around spouting that they're not racist as if that makes everything else that they've ever done okay, or everything else that they say okay. You not being racist doesn't solve racism, and it doesn't excuse whatever it is that you said for someone to say or to think that you're racist. You may not be racist, but you can still say racist things unintentionally, hurtful things unintentionally, and your intention doesn't justify the action or the effect that the action had. If you say something that hurts somebody or is stereotypical and you didn't mean it to be hurtful, apologize. That's it. You don't have to say, oh, well, I'm not racist. That's not an apology. That does not justify what you said. I'm sorry. I didn't intend for what I said to harm you. I didn't mean for it to come out that way. I said something ignorant. I apologize. I didn't realize what that meant or how that would affect you. And then that's it. That's all you can do. Now, if that person accepts your apology, that's up to them. You did your part. That's all you can do. If you are genuinely sorry and if you genuinely understand. Now, you can ask them, can you explain to me why it's harmful? I truly don't know. I don't understand it. And I want to understand because I don't want to be harmful to anybody else. I don't want to hurt anybody else. I want to change this view. It's obviously something that needs to be changed. That's amazing to ask somebody. You want to learn. You genuinely want to be better. Fine. You can do that. But a lot of people say things and they think that it's okay to say because they're not racist. Well, I'm not racist. I didn't mean it that way. You shouldn't be offended by it. That's not an apology, and that's not right. That doesn't help anybody. Not only does saying I'm not racist not help you or help the other person, but it's actually very harmful. A lot of people say, well, where I'm from, it's not a problem. I don't see racism. I don't see race. So why is it that people of XYZ color, Asian, Latin, white, black, whatever, why do they make it such a problem? Why is that what they're so focused on. Just because you personally have not experienced racism doesn't mean it does not exist. Because you haven't seen it, it's not a problem in your community, which it might be, it might just not affect you, does not mean anything. That doesn't mean racism isn't real. If you live in America, especially, it's just pretty crazy to me that people can sit here and think that just because they've never experienced it, or they don't see it, or what they really just don't see it as a problem, then they think that, oh, racism, there shouldn't be a problem with it. It's not that big. And a lot of people's thing is they go from, well, slavery ended 50 million years ago. I don't care when slavery ended. Slavery didn't end, nor did it start. Racism is the problem. People ride on slavery so hard as it ended because they think that that's when racism started. Racism was alive before slavery. I'm going to tell you that right now, okay? Slavery didn't invent racism. It just amplified it. And after slavery was over, that didn't end racism. It did not. It made it a bit more morally wrong to be racist. And a lot of people are like, oh, other people were slaves, yada, 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 in African countries and Asian countries. Obviously, in America, we're talking about the transatlantic slave trade. Were white people slaves? Irish people, yes, they were slaves. But that's not what people are talking about. And bringing that up does not justify anything. We can talk about that, but we can also, at the same time, talk about the treatment of African slaves. If you want to have a conversation about Irish slaves, you can. But every time someone brings up African slaves, it's not the time nor the place to bring up the Irish slaves, unless that's what they want to talk about in both. But a lot of times, African Americans or black people can't talk about Irish slavery because we didn't experience it. We weren't there. We don't know what it's about necessarily. So we can't tell you how to feel about it. But we can tell you how to feel about the slavery that affected us and our ancestors and still affects us to this day. And a lot of people think that black people are just ignoring the Irish slaves. We're not. It's just that if we want to talk about something that affects us, we should be able to do that without having someone else put their own personal experiences, if that's supposed to make us be quiet about our experiences or feel bad that we're bringing up our experiences. Nobody's saying Irish people can't talk about the treatment that they face, which was a lot historically. If you read your history books, they faced a lot of discrimination in their own places before they came over here in Ireland due to colonization of England or from England. It's still messed up. They're still divided, northern and southern. But that's not the point. The point is, if somebody's talking about slavery, there's so many nuances that you have to be careful of and pay attention to. Don't try to justify slavery. A lot of people try to justify it by saying, oh, well, Africans sold other Africans into slavery. We don't like them either. I promise you. Nobody's saying, oh, well, I'm going to be very upset at, I don't know, George Washington for owning slaves. If you can find me the name of a slave trader who's African who sold other Africans into slavery, I won't like him either. I promise you that. Nobody's going to say, it's okay that Africans sold other Africans into slavery. That's not okay. That's also just not what we're talking about right now, because that happened, true, and we can talk about that, but that does not justify buying people. You can't sell something there isn't a demand for. They're both equally wrong. And it's just that right now we're talking about the buyers, because the buyers are the people who had us in their possession. They didn't set us free. They didn't let us go. They didn't bring us here and treat us well. They treated us like dirt. They raped us, took away our heritage, took away our language, took away our customs. We couldn't even wear our hair a certain way, beat and raped us. So, yes, the Africans who sold other Africans into slavery were horrible people. So were the buyers. And right now we want to talk about the buyers because we can't do anything about the other people. And technically we can't really do anything about the buyers. They're dead. But we can talk about the foundation that was built under that, the foundation of racism against black people in America that's still alive today. Maybe I went off a little bit on that, but I promise it does all tie in together, because these are ways that people try to say that racism is gone, it's not a problem anymore, slavery's over, Jim Crow era. Everybody knows Ruby Bridges. She's only 66 years old. She was one of the first black people to be integrated into a segregated school. She is 66 years old. She's not 100, 200 years old. She's 66. She's still alive today. She lived in a time where black children and white children couldn't go to school together. And when she was going to school, a group of white Americans would protest it. They would have pictures, violent pictures, nooses threatening to hang her, baby dolls hanging off of a noose, threatening to burn her. She's 66. She's not 800 years old, like people will try to tell you. Oh, racism was hundreds of years ago. Slavery was over hundreds of years ago. That's not how it works. It's not that easy. It's not that simple. It's not that cute. When you say, I'm not racist, so racism is over, why are you victimizing yourself? Why are you making it a problem? You're ignoring people who are actually racist, who are actively harming someone. Let's say there's a man named John, and he discriminates against me because I'm black, right? And Mary says, why are you acting like that? I don't think it's because of your skin color. I don't see color. I'm not racist. I think you're making it up. And that sounds crazy, right? But it's happened to me. This is an actual experience I've had. I've been discriminated against, and when I talked about it to someone, not trying to get the person in trouble, I was just talking about an experience I had. Someone told me, really? I doubt that. In America? Like, that is what this lady said to me. And I was like, it happened. I'm not lying. Like, this genuinely happened to me. But she just couldn't believe that in America, I would be racially discriminated against. Because she's not racist. And she then proceeded to cite her family's history of anti-racism and anti-segregation and things like that. And that's fine and dandy, but where she became harmful was discrediting me and my experience based on her own personal feelings and her own personal thoughts. Just because she's not racist, she immediately doubted that I could ever experience discrimination. That doesn't make sense. And that's harmful, because discrediting me and my experiences allows for them to happen even more. Claiming that I was making myself a victim of something I was a genuine victim of allows people to do these things and get away with it. Because every time we reach out for help, nobody's going to listen to us, and all they're going to say is, they're not being racist. That doesn't solve anything. You not being racist doesn't keep other people from being racist. And you claiming racism is over when someone tries to get help due to being discriminated against just allows them to keep being discriminated against. If you are truly not racist, truly, you would advocate strongly for unity between people and for justice for people who are being discriminated against. I can't speak on other people's issues. I can't tell an Asian person what they experienced. I can't tell a Latin American person what they experienced. I can't tell a white person what they experienced. I can only tell someone what I experienced. If a Asian person came to me and said that they were discriminated against by a black person due to race, I cannot tell them it's not because of your race. I wasn't there. I don't know them. I don't know what they went through. I don't need the intention of the other person. Just because I, one single black person, am not racist doesn't mean I speak for the collective. So when someone of another race tries to speak on their entire race as a collective, that's not okay. I would be harming that Asian person by telling them that they never experienced racism from a black person. I'd be discrediting them unfairly and ignoring an obvious issue that needs to be addressed in my community, perhaps. So yeah, it doesn't help that you're not racist. It's great if you can use that to advocate for people and to advocate to end racism or make it not okay, add more laws, because black people, my hair in these braids in this very protective style just became legal a few years ago. I would have had to perm my hair, wear it flat, wear it in a ponytail, something. I wouldn't be able to wear my natural hair. I have very big poofy hair. I wouldn't be able to wear it in the workplace legally. My employer could tell me I can't wear it. Now, they can't. Why? Is it that in 2015, 2016, that's when it happened? That there were laws that didn't protect black people's natural hairstyles? That's pretty sad, in my opinion. I don't think that that's something that we should have had to wait so long for. When did slavery end versus when this law was enacted that protected black people in their hairstyles? Slavery wasn't some magic wave of the wand that ended racism. And the sooner people accept that, the sooner we can actually move on. Because a lot of people say, oh, you have to move on. You can't stay stuck in the past. Sweetie, it's not in the past. It's happening right now. Even our current president, Donald Trump, admitted that, and I'm not going to get into Black Lives Matter or police brutality, none of that. That's not what this is. This is just purely racism. But he admitted that the police force has systematic racism inside of it. Donald Trump admitted this. So if we got Republicans admitting this, Democrats admitting this, even the Green Party and the Progressive Party and the Birthday Party, all these people can admit it. Why is it so hard for just everyday citizens who live and breathe in this country to realize racism is a problem that needs to be solved proactively? We can't just ignore it when people are actively discriminating against us. If people stop being racist, maybe I could see people like, oh, I don't want to talk about it. I don't want to bring it up. It's in the past. Okay. When it's genuinely in the past, it can be in the past. It's not in the past. It's in the present. I am 20 years old, and I've been experiencing racism that I can remember since I was about 5. 2005. Not the 1800s, not the 1900s. 2005 was my first experience of racism. And I've been called a liar by sharing this experience, by the way, by someone who said that they weren't racist. That was just my first experience. It's not my only experience. I've had lots of discrimination against me in my dating life, in my daily life, in my academic life. It's a real thing. It's a real problem. And I'd love to be beyond it. I'd love to put it behind me and not have to worry about racism, because I'm not racist. I'm not. I genuinely love people. I love unity. I love embracing everybody's culture and their uniqueness. And it's not a bad thing about them. It's a good thing about them. But I can't just ignore racism if it's in my face. And so the fact that people can ignore racism, it must be nice to have that privilege, to be able to pretend that it doesn't hurt you. Or to genuinely not have it bother you. That must be amazing. But I live in a city full of people, surrounded by cities full of other people who don't agree with the people in my city. I live in a Republican state, in a Democratic city, and so the views here are different. The things I hear are different from if I step foot outside of my city. It's a completely different thing. Or even within my city, I live in a tourist destination. Lots of people come to my city all the time, and they don't always agree with the things that my city agrees with. And that includes things about racism. But I feel like this video has gone on too long. I feel like I made some points. Hopefully, I can go off on a little bit of a tangent. I tried not to. I did my best. If you have questions, ask me. I'll gladly answer them. I love answering questions. My favorite thing is people asking me things instead of making false assumptions. So if you are confused about anything, if you have questions about anything, my 2 subscribers, you can ask me anything. Feel free to share this everywhere. It's a pretty long video, but if people have 20 minutes out of their day to sit there and listen to me, maybe advocate with me, maybe even challenge me if you feel like something I said was wrong, feel free. I love discussions. I love conversations. It gets things rolling when we talk. I don't want to ignore things anymore. So you got something to say, lay it on me. You don't like what I said, feel free to say that too. Freedom of speech completely. You can say whatever you want to say. I may respond, I may not respond. I don't know, maybe. I don't know. Whatever. It's a Friday. I got work in a little while, so thanks for watching my video. Like and subscribe to my channel.